and that's just our wrongdoing. But yeah, against Avondale, all to play for. We're not going there and expecting like, oh yeah, game, just tick it off the list. We're going there. We expect 3 points from every game we play.
It's interesting, the last two games. Against Heidelberg 2 weeks ago, we were 2-0 up. They managed to get us back to 2-2. And then against South Melbourne last week, we were 2-0 down and we managed to get it back to 2-2. My tip is it's going to be a 2-2 draw against Avondale. I don't know how, I don't know what, but I'll take that again. There you have it. That was on last week's episode of DINAMO-TV. We predicted 2-2. Guess what? Turned out to be 2-2. Good evening, folks. How are you? My pleasure to be here on DinamoTV again for another week. My name is Tonchi Prusats, and, it is now episode 60 and our 22nd episode for this year. And boy, are we churning through the episodes. There is just so much every week, and it's a great time to be a part of this fantastic club, let me tell you. And especially as we get closer and closer to our 50th Gala celebrations happening early to mid-July. On tonight's show, folks, we've got an absolute doozy of a show. We're going to be catching up with the senior women's team coach, Tom Pondeljak. Actually, it won't be me. It'll be Tuna, our roving reporter, Adam Tenanini, who's jumped in as a guest reporter for DinamoTV, and he's done a great job. You want to catch that interview with Tom a little bit later on. We also speak with the hero from last week's game against Avondale, scoring a last-minute equaliser, Josh Divin. And we'll also be speaking to a man who's very, very well known around the Dinamo football community and indeed the Croatian community here in Melbourne. A man who is he's the MC for our 50th Gala Ball celebration, but he's also the producer and the soon-to-be co-host of a brand new community-based podcast TV show called Podroom-TV or Podroom-TV, however you want to pronounce it. Anthony Smolic will be joining us a little bit later on tonight's show. So stay tuned, folks. It's an action-packed show. Buckle yourself up. We've got lots to get through. And it all starts with the news desk on the other side of this short break. Don't go away.
The I&D Group is regarded as one of the largest deliverers of concrete structure solutions in Victoria. Formed in 1994 by Ivan and Kathy Filipovic, their passion and commitment to getting the job done safely and economically has underpinned their success in the industry. I&D partners with large-scale building and construction companies in both the private and public sectors on projects large and small. With our corporate headquarters based in South Melbourne and storage yard based in the southeast suburbs, we have at our disposal thousands of square metres of quality materials, along with state-of-the-art lifting and crane equipment, enabling us to deliver the largest projects. We are committed to delivering high-quality projects by partnering with our clients and collaborating with project suppliers to ensure each job is delivered to exceed expectations. From humble beginnings, I&D now employs more than 1,200 dedicated professional and support staff, involved in a number of landmark projects right across Victoria. The I&D Group is a massive supporter of the Croatian community, backed soccer clubs in Victoria, and is proud to be the major sponsor of the St Albans Dinamo Football Club in 2024.
It's time now for DinamoTV news. And yes, before we do that, it is an opportune time to make a public thank you to our major sponsor, the I&D Group. A big thank you to Ivan and Kathy Filipovic from the I&D Group, who are absolutely true pillars of our community. Their unwavering support of Dinamo over the years speaks volumes, and their generosity never goes unnoticed. So thank you for consistently going above and beyond, not just for the Dinamo family, but as we said there on screen, for the entire Croatian community. Alrighty, as we mentioned, last week was an absolute heart stopper in round 18 of the NPL Victoria competition. A last-minute equaliser earned to us a point against table toppers Avondale FC. We're going to here are the highlights package and your commentators Neil Simons and Katie Lambeski.
So no one's actually scored first. It was at Churchill Reserve on the back pitch because the main pitch was being redone. But will that repeat today? We will see. We'll take you through the starting lineup, starting off with the home side in Avondale. Like Agwek, Yusuf Ahmed, Jackson Courtney Perkins, Sian Cuba, Daniel Edwards, Kelalu Kamara, Joey Katabian, Mayan in between sticks, Christian Trycheski, Stefan Valentini, and Emmeline Wellsmore. As for St. Albans, we do see the returns of Michael Gulgic and Josh Gulevsky, Gideon Arok, Michael Bullitt twirling onto his left. Almost holding hands with Alec Mills at some point. He's been forced all the way back into his defence and looking to find an option. He does. Eventually, it's Trycheski, beautiful chest. It's Courtney Perkins inverted in the middle space. Katabian with a switch. Finds Yusuf Ahmed. An elegant touch from Yui Ahmed. Across the face of goal it goes. Still towards Courtney Perkins, approaching the byline, calls for a handball against Alec Mills. A wave clear, Valentini into the area, and it's Sian Cuba with the volley through, and the Avengers take a 1-0 lead. It was a matter of time.
What Valentini's putting down the right side as well, just doing his duty defensively as well when called upon. Really quality in attack as well. An A-League player, A-League men's player, if there ever was one in my estimation.
Oh, yes, and there are definitely multiple of these players that Avondale do have that could step up to that level, but opportunity is one thing. Here's Gulevsky, left-hand channel, rolls it square, Dragicevic. Oh, my word! Oliver Dragicevic! The boy wonder! What an incredible goal! Oh, my goodness! Edge of the area. You have to go direct here. Katie Lambeski, could this be the opportunity?
I hope he goes direct.
You hope so.
To be honest, he has that in his locker. We know that.
Sian Cuba. Standing over this one. The game-changing moment for the Avengers in their title race pursuit. Or might it be Blake Carpenter? It's Sian Cuba! Oh my word, the save! And it's bundled in eventually! And I believe it is Dan Edwards! What a save from Bullitt, and the follow-up does arrive! A gut punch to Dinamo! A gut punch to the bird! A late equaliser before. They did it last Friday night. Can they do it again? Lucas Burns. James Exidius. In space. Kamara. Diligent. Dragicevic. Neat ball. Jerome Charon. Good touch. Can he feed it inside for Divin? He can! Oh my word! The second time in 2 weeks! Josh Divin! With the 89th minute equaliser! The late show on the Cam Watson continues! Different complexion. And it's with Dan Edwards. In space, Tavia. Looking out left, not quite on cue with Stefan Zini. Laterally for Luca Tavia. He's under some pressure. And referee, Michael Uliaris, has blown full time. Dropped points for Avondale again. The title race continues to heat up this week. The Burgers.
And yes, what a way to finish the match there. Let's go through some of those results. Well, Heidelberg defeated Dandenong Thunder 2-0. Dandenong City, our sister club, drew 0-0 against Green Gully. Melbourne Knights drew 2-2 against Port Melbourne Sharks in the Battle of the Cellar Dwellers. Very, very entertaining game that. Oakley Cannons got absolutely pummeled by Melbourne Victory. Not a good result for us in the sense that we come up against Oakley Cannons this weekend and they will be the wounded tiger. But more importantly, Melbourne Victory now jumps over us into 11th spot. So they are officially out of that relegation zone. We drop into the relegation zone. Obviously, we drew 2-2. Altona Magic and Hume City, they also drew 1-1. So Altona Magic starting to pick up some points and starting to edge ever so closely away from that relegation zone. So we have to keep an eye out on them and see how they're faring, because they are a direct competitor with us to stay in the league. As are South Melbourne, and South Melbourne defeated Port Preston 2-1, so they've now really jumped up to 9th spot on the competition standings. As we said, this weekend's game, this Friday night's game, in fact, is a crucial game for us, taking on Oakley at Churchill Reserve. The game kicking off at 8:30 p.m. This Friday night. A must-win game for us, that's for sure. Before we look at the week ahead, obviously, we're also looking at the week back, and 2 of our players earned a call-up in the NPL Victoria Team of the Week. Oli Dragicevic is the 2nd or 3rd time this year, and Gideon Arok as well. So well done to Gideon and to Oli on your call-ups for the NPL Team of the Week. Well done. All right, let's look at the wrap-up, the complete wrap-up for the week just gone by. As we saw, the seniors drew 2-2. Unfortunately, the under-23s lost 1-0, and the under-19s lost 2-3. So if we quickly look at the ladder there, the St Albans Dynamo in the under-23s remain in 7th position. But unfortunately, the under-19s have slipped from 5th to 7th. And that is not what we want to see. But we move on to this weekend's games. The women, they did very well, and they recorded a 2-0 win over Spring Hills, and we've got some photos there to show you. Well done to the women who've done exceptionally well. And they have now jumped into 2nd position on the competition standings in State League 1. And we'll pop the ladder up very, very shortly. There we go. So they find themselves now just 3 points behind the Uni Hill Eagles, but and it's the only game that we've dropped points against the Uni Hill Eagles. So the return fixture in the second half of the season will be definitely one to savour and look forward to. We've also got some footage or post-match interview that Adam Tenenini, Tuna, the under-23s coach, caught up with Tom Pondeljak, the coach of the senior women's team. This is what Tom had to say.
Hello everyone, Tuna here, roving reporter for DinamoTV. Just catching up with Tommy, senior women's coach, after another good win. It was a Friday night against Spring Hills on the unfamiliar synthetic pitch there at the Spring Hills Reserve. How was it, Tommy?
Yeah, like you said, obviously on the synthetic, made a little bit tough for our girls. Probably took us a solid first half to actually trying to get used to the conditions. But look, the girls are good. As always, they're creating a lot of chances. Went into the break up 1-0, but probably should have been a couple of more. But all in all, look, the girls, week to week, as I always say, they try their hearts out. Played some really good stuff, probably more so in the second half, once we got used to the conditions. And yeah, got an early one in the second half. Probably could have went on with it with a few more after that. But I mean, look, all in all, you know, walking away with 3 points. They're quite a tough team to play, actually, Spring Hills. But yeah, we.
And there we go, Tom Pondeljak after last weekend's game. So Dynamo in second spot. And this week they come up against 4th placed Brunswick City at Brunswick's ground at Dunstan Reserve. This Sunday, kick-off at 3 p.m. Round 9 fixture. Important game there, that's for sure. Let's go back to the weekend wrap-up and have a look at the JB NPL games, Round 7. The under-17s lost to Avondale. The under-16s defeated Avondale. Well done. The under-15s defeated Moreland City. And unfortunately, the under-14s lost to sister club North Geelong Warriors. This week, coming up, The 14s are at home to Hume City. The 15s are at home to Caroline Springs George Cross. And the 16s are at home to sister club North Geelong Warriors in the Croatian Derby, as to are the 17s. So those games kicking off at 14s at 9:30, the under 15s at 11 o'clock, the under 16s at 1, and under 17s at 3 p.m. So this Saturday, heaps of football happening at Churchill Reserve. Awesome. Okay, we're going to take a very short break, and when we return, we'll be speaking to our next guest tonight, our first guest, in fact, our first featured guest, and he was the scorer of that last-minute equaliser against Avondale, and we're, of course, talking about Josh Divin. Don't go away, folks. You are tuning into Dinamo-TV.
Before they did it last Friday night. Can they do it again? Lucas Burns, James Exidius in space, Kamara, Diligent, Dragicevic, neat ball, Jerome Charon, good touch. Can he feed it inside for Divin? He can! Oh my word! The second time in 2 weeks! Josh Divin with the 89th minute equaliser! The late show on the Cam Watson continues!
And we've got the man of the hour, the last-minute hero, Josh Divin, on DinamoTV, joining us on DinamoTV. Josh, how you doing?
How you going? Yeah, good, Tonchi. Good to be here.
Yeah, very good, mate. Take us through that last-minute goal, like the equaliser. How did it come about in your eyes?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like it was coming from a while. Like we had a lot of chances before that, but yeah, basically just saw the ball come across. I think Jerome got it, kind of cut in, and just got through a few people, and just used my body to get one of the defenders out of the way, and just sat nicely for me on the 6-yard box, and stuck it through the legs of the keeper.
Yeah. Now the feeling there was of pure jubilation, like the boys had won, and look, to beat, to take 2 points off the top side, Avondale, who've been very, very just dominant all year. Pretty amazing. The mood in the dressing rooms after that, was it a case of relief or ecstasy securing the result, or was it a little bit of disappointment that couldn't take the 2 extra points off them?
100%. I think it was more disappointment, to be honest. I think just the way we were playing, I think we deserved more than the draw. Obviously, they scored to make it 2-1, and then kind of got us in a bit of a not so great position, but to come back and draw, and we had a lot of chances as well. Which we're kind of burning over a little bit, but I guess that's football. And but yeah, I mean, it's a good result against Avondale in the end. But I think the overall feeling just a dressing room was a bit of disappointment after that draw.
Yeah, how's it been on the training track this week? A big game obviously coming up this Friday, Oakley Cannons. How's the mood, the intensity, how's the overall atmosphere been on the training track?
It's always been good. It's been good this week, and I think we beat Oakley last time, so we know we can do it again. We beat them down there, and now they're coming to Dinamo, which is obviously always a tough place to play, and for opposing opposition. And I think we're ready to bring it to them, and look for that win, and get that win.
Now, they had a bit of a setback, or quite a bad setback against Melbourne Victory last round. Is that a good thing or a bad thing? We're coming up against the wounded tiger, so to speak.
Yeah. Look, I'm not too focused on the other results and stuff like that. I think it's really important to focus on ourselves as a team and what we need to do. And I think, if we play our best football, we'll win the game. But yeah, obviously they're a very strong side, and they're not going to be happy, so to speak, that they've lost to Victory last week in that manner. So I think it's going to be a very, very tough game. But yeah, if we bring our best game, I think we'll win.
Yeah. Where are they most vulnerable? Without giving away too many tactics, where can we really hit them hard?
I think from last time, from memory, just our intensity really kind of outplayed them. I think they're a very strong team around the pitch, but I think if we can come out firing, be really strong and win our 50-50 battles, I think it's going to be very hard for them to play. And obviously, as I said, coming to Dinamo in front of our crowd and stuff like that's going to be, I think, a tough place for them to come.
Do you guys like playing on the main pitch now that we're back on the main pitch?
Yeah, 100%. I think it when we first got on, it was like a little bit different. Obviously, we were training on the top pitch for a while, and coming down back to the main pitch has been a bit of a adjustment at the start. But now I think obviously you've been training on it and playing on it now has been really good. And it's good to be back on there and playing on the main pitch.
Yeah, now I actually had the privilege of calling the first game back against Dandenong City, and I noticed the turf hadn't settled yet. And afterwards, I went for a bit of a walk, and I could see little patches there that were kind of a bit squishy, I think, after the rain overnight. But has the pitch, like the turf itself, has it had a chance to settle down over the last few weeks?
Yeah, I think it has. There's some bits that are still a little bit wet and stuff like that, but I think for the most part, it's held up fairly decently so far. And considering we've trained on it and played on it, and the weather hasn't been ideal either. A lot of rain and stuff like that. So which is good to see, and it's really nice to play on as well. But yeah, there's some bits that are still a little bit kind of wet, but it's still kind of holding up fairly well at the minute.
Yeah. Now the boys are battle hardened, having drawn 2-2 against Heidelberg 3 weeks ago. Then 2 weeks ago was against South Melbourne 2-2, and now against Avondale. We're not going to make it a four-peat, no. I'm going to predict. Last week on the show we had Marko Bulic, and I said we were going to draw 2-2 against Avondale, and guess what? We did. Well, I'm going to say it's going to be a 2-1 win for us. I think it's going to be a 2-1 win for us.
Yep.
Who do you think will be the two goal scorers?
Look,
you've got to say one of them is going to be you, right?
Yeah, I mean, look, I'm a striker, so of course I've got to back myself.
And who's going to be the other one that you think out of the lads will score?
I've got a feeling Jerome might score. He's
okay.
He's a little bit of a. I don't think he's scored this year yet, but I feel like he might turn up this weekend and put one in the back of the net. So hopefully he does.
Awesome. Any lads in the dressing room, have they had a stint at Oakley? Any ex-Oakley Cannons players?
Good question.
Can't think off the top of my head.
I don't think so.
No.
I don't think so. No.
I thought there'd be a little bit of added spice there. Who knows? But mate, when you're not training, when you're not sort of consumed by football, and in this day and age with a semi-professional environment of NPL football still being all-consuming pretty much, what do you do to relax? What do you do to sort of recharge?
Well, I actually play a lot of golf. So try and get out. Obviously, after games on the weekend, like the day after, do a bit of golf is my hobby. I actually do it with Lucas Burns quite a lot of the time. Dinamo boys, and then some of the other lads as well sometimes. But yeah, it's a good way to kind of get away from everything, work and soccer obviously as well, just to kind of reset the mental side of things and. Really enjoy playing it as well. So that's my hobby outside of soccer.
Golf, that's great. And it's great to you often hear sportsmen often have something active to get their mind off things. It's usually not something like reading a book or watching videos or whatever. It's usually something that's quite active, which is always good to see. And mate, now this is kind of your second year here at Churchill Reserve. You came to us towards the end of the last season from Western United Youth. How have you found the transition from an academy style setup to a community based club like Dinamo?
Yeah, no, I've always said it. I've really loved the community at Dinamo. Just after games and stuff like that. And I know the other week we had there was heaps of people at the club after, and it was really good fun to stay around and meet some of the people that are always in and around the club. Which is great to see, and I really like the community side of things. Which is great. So obviously at Western probably didn't have that as much. So it's a bit of a different environment in that sense. But yeah, no, it's really, really good to be a part of. And I feel like I've been here for a lot longer than 2 years, to be honest. So it's awesome. It's great. So yeah.
Well, we love having you here at Dinamo, and especially when you were scoring those last-minute equalisers like you did last Saturday. But mate, you're young. You're only 20 years of age, so there's still a lot of football left in you. What are some of your ambitions? Are you looking kind of with one eye towards the National Second Division or the A-League, or even a stint overseas, possibly?
Look, I'm not too sure, to be honest. I haven't really thought about it much recently. I'm really happy at Dinamo, and as I said, as we mentioned before, with the community and stuff like that, and I feel really comfortable. Mm-hmm. But yeah, look, if anything popped up, and I was in a bit of a run of form, and something popped up, I'm not too sure really what could happen. But yeah, just playing it as it comes, really.
Yeah, no, that's great to hear. And it's great you've got that kind of focus on the here and now, not looking too far forward into the future. Awesome, mate. Well, thank you so much for joining us on DinamoTV. We really, really appreciate it, and we look forward to seeing you in action on the Friday night against Oakley Cannons. Big game, that one. That's going to be a huge game, and we're really, really looking forward to it. There it is, all the details there. 8:30 p.m. kickoff this Friday night at Churchill Reserve. Big clash, must-win game against the Oakley Cannons. We certainly want to get away from the dreaded relegation zone. And, we're unbeaten in the last 3 games against 3 of the competition's heavyweights. Why not make it 4? Josh, thanks for joining us.
No worries. Thanks, Tonchi. Thanks for having me.
Good on you. Josh Divin, wasn't that providing an electric bit of a celebration, ecstasy, whatever you want to call it, last week. Let's hope there's more of the same this weekend, this Friday night, when Dinamo takes on Oakley Cannons in round 19 of the NPL Victoria competition. Folks, we're going to take a very, very short break, and when we return, it's time for our next guest tonight, a man who is very, very well known around the club, and he's now he's the producer and soon-to-be co-host of a brand-new Croatian community podcast called Podroom-TV. Of course, we are talking about the one and only Anthony Smolic. He'll be joining us after this short break. And welcome back to Dinamo-TV. And in recent weeks, we've sort of diverted a little bit from just the football side of things and the football club side of things. And we've branched out into exploring the community. Last week, we had Adriana Dorinko from the Hrvatska Zora folkloric group. And this week, we've got one of our own legends. He's a Dinamo that's through and through. Involved with the club, and he's emceed many a time at many a function. And in fact, he's also going to be emceeing at our gala night on July the 12th. But we've got our next guest as, he's starting a new venture of his own, let's call it that. And to tell us a little bit more about this venture called Podroom-TV, a very, very big warm welcome to DinamoTV to Ante Smolic. Ante, how are you? Good evening.
Very good, Tonchi. Very good, mate. Just trying to get everything, all the logistics in order. I've been to 3 different venues this evening for training, from North Keilor CRC down to Lloyd Reserve, and then back to Dinamo to pick up and wrangle all the kids and get them all and be back here on time. So good to be here tonight.
Oh, I'll tell you what, I hear. I think it's sometimes we think of ourselves as Uber drivers during the week, and come the weekend, it's just soccer dads or basketball dads or sport dads or whatever the case may be. But we wouldn't have it any other way. But mate, there we go. Podroom-TV coming soon. You and another one of our own, Rob Spoljard, who's very well known as, he sometimes moonlights as the lead singer of Major Minor. But Podroom-TV, tell us all about it. What is it? How did it come about? And when can we expect the first episode?
Yeah, look, we've been I've been thinking about it for a while, and originally I had a bit of downtime, and I thought, what can we do? Possibly some kind of a podcast, bit of a Zafricancio, I guess. And then I go, you know what? I think I won't be able to do it on my own. I'll probably need a bit of a helping hand, a co-host. And I thought, Spolge and I had a pretty good relationship and worked well together on a previous podcast, I guess, that we did together. And I thought I'd reach out and see if he was available. And well and truly, he is available. So, look, we're going to start a bit of a podcast. I am unemployed at the moment, so that probably helps. I've got plenty of time on my hands.
So that makes you a professional podcaster, does it? Or will make
like it, mate. So subscribe so we can monetize it, so Spolge can get some fuel allowance, so he can drive from the other side of town all the way over to McLeod if we end up doing it on a Monday night. But so we go, let's put something together, something a little bit different, I guess. But like you said, just like Dinamo-TV, it's been expanding and sort of speaking to people, not just from the soccer community, but from the wider community. That's what we're hoping to do. So, and not only try and keep it as entertaining as possible, but, we wouldn't mind being controversial. We wouldn't mind sometimes, although people don't sometimes like us as a community airing our dirty laundry, having a chat about some of the challenges that we might face as a community, and also inviting people to come to us and give us, hopefully, some solutions that we can look at to try and improve the situation that we may be facing, because we are facing some challenges, demographic challenges, attendance challenges, whatever they might be. So we're hoping, we're going to try not to only speak to people from Victoria and Melbourne, but interstate, overseas, internationally renowned people, whether they're footballers, they're sportsmen, they're politicians, they're, and same goes here. We've got a list of people we'd like to speak to, but sometimes very difficult to get them on or get a hold of them, but we definitely want to speak to as many people from a vast array of professions, I guess, and backgrounds, and bring a bit of laughter as well to the community.
Now, knowing you two, you're both very entertaining. You're never really speechless, I guess the word is. So we're expecting a lot of entertainment, and I'm sure both of you being musically inclined, we may hear one or two, or maybe even more original compositions being played, but getting back to the real crux of the show, and I guess it's something that our community, the Croatian community, has been crying out for a long time, is for a forum to really address the issues, and I guess in many ways a lot of media, if you like, in our community hasn't been able to do that, because it's, I guess, in a way, it's not independent for whatever reason. If it's either sponsors or advertisers or I guess the politically inclined way or whatever, this is going to be different. This is going to be totally independent, isn't it?
Exactly right. So no strings attached, no agendas like Spolge put up on his Instagram, Facebook post. open to everybody. If you see an episode that you might not be particularly happy with, reach out, come on board, jump on and have a say. To the contrary of whatever it is you might have heard, send an email, send a text, etc. We're more than happy to show all sides, whether if there are sides or differing opinions. No doubt we'll probably get some phone calls after hours about some of the episodes or some of the content that we might provide.
Expecting that, are you?
I am expecting it. We've received it in the past, so I don't expect anything different now.
Yeah.
But like we said, if anybody wants to sponsor, well and truly. But again, we and with yourself as well in the media space, it's very difficult to get sponsorship in this day and age. You've got the Geelong Region Soccer Show, you've got Dinamo, you also had the Oz Crow Soccer Show, which was absolutely fantastic, and we pushed for as much as we could to get sponsorship to keep that going with yourself and Mr. Grabowitz up there in Sydney, because I loved watching that show.
Yeah, thank you very much.
But sponsors, come on board.
Yeah.
You can obviously, we can happy to have them in the studio as well. But like I said, no agendas, no political affiliations, no. It's not DinamoTV, it's not Knights TV, it's not Mladi Kravati, Zora, or whoever it might be. It's me and Spolge just having a chat, probably having a couple of beers. I'm not sure what the go is with, wouldn't say tobacco advertising, but doing a Joe Rogan and having a cigar or something down here in the Podroom. But the guests, hopefully, all of them, or most of them will be joining us here. We've got a seat for our guests or multiple guests, so they'll be coming down to the northwest of Melbourne to join us. But if not, we'll get them on video link or even pre-record if we need to, if they can't make it in. And we're looking at Monday nights at this stage, but the first episode might take place maybe on a Wednesday or we don't want to clash with anyone, so we're definitely not doing a Tuesday. Mr. Prussia has reached out to us, so we won't clash with their radio show, and I'll also double check with yourself, Taunch, so we don't clash with any of your shows or DinamoTV, etc.
DinamoTV, 8 p.m. on a Wednesday.
There you go. So we'll probably look at maybe doing a Thursday for the first episode, but I'd say we'd go back to the Mondays after that, because that seems to be pretty free at this stage. But like I said, if there are, and I think the email address, podroom.tv@gmail.com. If you've got any ideas, you've got any contacts of anybody that you'd like to see on the show to hear their particular point of view and their ideas, particularly the big name ones that we're looking for, like I said, Stipe Miocic, Andrew Bogut, various footballers from the Crow national team, etc. I've been messaging. I don't know if you've seen now of recent days, there's a bloke called Crow Samurai that has popped up on Instagram.
Yes. Well, he's got I think he's launched some sort of a challenge that he wants to get. Is it 1,000 or 100,000 followers? And until then, he's going to be singing a Croatian song every day or something.
Yeah, I think he's based in Sydney. So I flicked him a message earlier this evening to try and see if he wants to come on board. And again, that's something different. Yeah. And because as a community, we've sort of, I don't know how you'd say it, we've gone a little bit stale.
Yeah.
It's always kind of Groundhog Day, Zabava, soccer, whatever. But there are people trying to do a lot of things differently. And you can see the results. Straight away, you look at the Folkloric Arts Festival that happened only last week. Yeah, it was done at a theatre, 700 people. Zabava followed, 900 people. They separated the two. Folklore done at one venue, Zabava done at another, and it worked absolutely brilliantly. Pre-party at Dinamo, after-party at the Knights, disco hosted by Dandy City. Everybody worked together. Zora, Mladi Hrvatis, Zvonimir in Springvale. And when there's collaboration, that's where new ideas can come to the fore, because you're not just drinking your own bathwater. People speak, they bounce ideas off each other, they disagree. And finally, at the end, and what we saw last week, we saw this magnificent showcase of culture. We can do the same with soccer. We can do the same with our churches. We can do the same with everything. We just need to start thinking outside the box, because if we keep looking back to the old days and how good it was, and we were both there in the old days, we'd see 20,000 people against South Melbourne at Olympic Park, or North Geelong winning the VPL back in the day at Middle Park or wherever it was. Those days have passed. We can potentially, there's more of us now than what there was then.
And that is so true, isn't it? That is exactly right. Now the third generation's coming to the fore. The fourth generation is starting to pop up. And thankfully, we've still got a few members of the first generation with us. But you're absolutely right. But, mate, and it's a shame that your colleague isn't up to it tonight. He's a bit sick, unfortunately, Mr. Spoiler. But a good point that he makes, and you touched on it before, the no filters, no delays, no agendas. We want to hear your thoughts. respectfully, of course, and that's the big thing. We actually thought about getting Krevet Cam because, to visit Spolj, but unfortunately he's a bit sick tonight.
You'd have to do that one on. You'd have to do that one on OnlyFans if it's.
Yeah, exactly right. But that is a good point. That for far too long, our community has been very, very one-sided. And when someone's got a different opinion, people tend to think you're against them, and it's not necessarily the case. And that's something that it looks like you guys want to promote: healthy discussion, healthy dialogue, and I think that's the only way. As you said, we got to look outside the box, because at the moment, if we don't do something, in my opinion, quite radical, our community is going to, maybe not die, but it won't realise its full potential. Correct?
Exactly right. And we've had a fantastic response already. We've only put up these couple of AI-generated images and a short clip, which thank you to Dane Duganjic, who put together that little intro clip with the rap music in the background, because I've become a rapper in my old age. But there's been a fantastic response. We've had clubs reach out saying you can host your show from our premises if need be. Do you need any sponsorship? Do you need any assistance? Look, the real only assistance that we need is technological assistance at this stage.
Yep.
I put out on Facebook saying we need a little. Look, I think it's called OBS Studio, but you use what I can see is called Restream.
Yep.
Which I'll be definitely looking at tomorrow. And if we can connect to the same
platform
that you're using, I've got this little Stream Deck or whatever it is where I can switch between screens. And I don't even know how the hell that works. Multiple microphones. We've got the mics. Looks good. The background, I hope, looks pretty good for the viewers as well. So if we can bed down the technology so that we can even have multiple cameras, and then we can split screens like we can like this, have different clips like what you do with the highlights packages from the weekend, it'll be fantastic. So if there's anyone out there that is, like yourself, you've already reached out.
I've already put my hand up, and we will be in touch, mate. But we're gonna, thanks to you, actually, we're gonna have a little bit of a sneak tour of the studio facility. So if it goes for about a minute, but you'll take us through some of the commentary and some of the more interesting, well, shall we say, decorations or artifacts. Here we go. Take us through this.
All right, so that's just a little bit of a cultural corner there, where I've got some goals in Norsnia and various souvenirs from overseas. My old Mostar Melbourne scarf, soccer balls at Buffalo Ball from the 1989-90 NSL season. Some old Melbourne Tornado jerseys, some maps, some old frames that were from Clifton Hill before the Sala was redone. Some mandolina there, an old gas lamp.
Is that a garlic? Is that some look that I can see?
Look, although it is artificial look, so I can go to bed tonight without having to worry too much. Some glagoljica, you can see there, a Lichka tambura. There's all sorts of things there. My NK Pondeljak jersey that I wore back in the 90s. And my acrylic prosciutto that is hanging there, so not for consumption. My trade work there, you can see my Ožujsko and Osiječko bar that I made out of fence palings and crates.
Oh, look at that.
A few scarves there from overseas and interstate and all over the place. But, it's a cozy little downstairs man cave, I guess, which we're now going to hopefully transfer into Fox Studios, and people can tour and pay entry to come and... Well, I don't think I can fit much of a live audience in here, but I'm sure I could probably dig a little bit further under the house and fit some chairs.
Now, is it true that the real reason that you've devised this concept is so that you can actually, that your wife will allow you to spend more time in the man cave, in the konoba, or the podroom as they call it?
This will probably be one of the rare times during the week that I'm allowed down here. When we have Gosti, I'm not allowed to spend too much time down here, but I have purchased recently a big, massive electronic dartboard, like the one that used to be at North and at the Dom, if you remember those ones, the big, the 10 different games you can choose from. $2 a game if you want to come down and have a play. No dramas. There's a couple of fridges. I've got a heater down here now. There's speakers. There's all sorts of things going. Look, hopefully it brings some smiles to some faces, and like you said, hopefully it can trigger some discussion, and from that discussion we can look at some solutions, and from those solutions we can get some concrete steps forward so the community can grow. It's the potential's there. We've seen it last week. We've seen it with a lot of clubs around the place doing things a little bit differently, and trying to grow their base, I guess. The base is there. We just need to get them back, and we need to figure out the ways how can we get these young and middle-aged and older people back, because it's not only young people maybe not attending certain events. There's people our age and there are people older than us that have stopped going to various places, and we need to figure out what is it that we can do to try and get these people back in so that these clubs can thrive for a lot longer into the future.
Mate, it's certainly an exciting concept. I, for one, cannot wait, and I'm sure a lot of our viewers of DinamoTV as well. And I think the more of these type of programs on offer, and remember, even if they were all at the same time, you can watch these replays on YouTube, on Facebook, on Instagram, and what you're not. So that's the beauty of this forum, is that you don't have to watch it live. You can watch it in a recorded or replay version. But, mate, you're going to have a very, very busy month over the next 4 weeks, 5 weeks. On Saturday, 12th of July, the big 50th anniversary, the Gala night, Dinamo Gala night at the Croatian Catholic Centre. Sellout, 800-plus people are going to be here. And you're going to be sharing the MC duties with Mariana Rudan. What can we expect from the from that night, Smol?
Oh, look, I'm pretty excited. I was just there, like I said, at training at various venues this evening. We've been talking about it a fair bit, about the excitement that's building, the memorabilia area of sunshine that will be set up, and the collection of memorabilia over the last number of months by some very, very hardworking people. And just 800 people. Well, there was about 900 last week at Sunshine, but Dinamo's had to cap it at 800, I think, so they can fit all the memorabilia in. It's going to be massive. So not only Mariana Rudan from Sydney coming down, formerly of SBS, and recently an award-winning screenplay producer, filmmaker, I believe.
Oh, dear, I heard about that.
Yes, so she'll be. She's a fantastic host, real professional, that complements my amateurish shenanigans. So she keeps me in line. But we'll be meeting up probably the night before, going through the running sheet. Spolge and Major Minor, as always, if you were there last Saturday night, they went absolutely bonkers. I've not seen the dance floor at Sunshine that packed in many, many years. It was absolutely fantastic. So Major Minor will bring the music. I've got a couple of songs, so it is a very important event. So I had one song already bedded down, but as of this afternoon, my second song has now been fully completed. The first one's a bit of a ode to the culture at Dinamo, maybe on a Thursday night when some of the mums and dads get a little bit bored or a little bit cold, their way into what we call the vortex around the Vukovar bar. So we'll be having a bit of a sing-along about having a couple of quiet ones on a Thursday night. And the second one's a pretty serious ballad that really pays tribute to 50 years of St Albans Dinamo Football Club, all the people that have put in a lot of the hard work, the early migrants, the people through the 70s, 80s, and into the current day under Ilya's leadership. It's a fantastic story. Humble little club in the back streets of St Albans with now hundreds of juniors, Vukovar, Gorspic, Wednesday nights, women's teams, girls' teams. It's a real success story, and they've done a fantastic job. And 50 years, hopefully, we can sing along and get another 50 going.
Well, there you go. It's a community within a community, and there's so much to sing and celebrate. And there you go. Apart from I guess a party tune to a power ballad, so it'll have everything on that night, and we can't wait.
I definitely won't be bringing this one along, but I might make a song at some point using the. It's not exactly from our geographical area where I'm from back overseas, but I'm sure I'll be able to come up with a tune. But I will be bringing out are they called Diple, Mishine? What do you call them down there in Metkovic?
The gusle.
The blow-up guts with the bagpipes. The gusle. Yeah, I'll be bringing those out during the ballad. So,
well, looking forward to that, and looking forward to the first episode of Podroom-TV starring yourself and Rob Spoiler. There you go, and that looks so realistic. I wouldn't have thought that was a AI generated, but
yeah, they got the nose right. That's for sure.
Mate, wishing you all the very best. We look forward to seeing that very first episode. And, cannot wait for the debut episode of Podroom-TV.
Thank you very much, Taunch, and see everyone down at Dinamo on Friday night.
We'll do big game coming up this Friday night. Good. And that's Anthony Smolic. He's the Croatian version of Eddie Maguire. He's absolutely everywhere. And that is going to be one hell of a concept. I cannot wait for it. Folks, we're going to take a very short break, and when we return, we'll continue with tonight's episode of Dinamo-TV. Don't go away.
Westar Prestige is a proud family-owned second-generation business servicing Victorian motorists for more than 50 years. We are a specialist prestige collision repair facility situated in the western suburbs of Melbourne. However, we service all regions of Victoria, with many of our clients travelling not only from around Melbourne, but all of Victoria to use our services. We are also able to provide a digital platform for quoting clients' vehicles who are unable to personally attend our premises. We are an authorised manufacturer approved repair facility for Mercedes-Benz, Tesla, Peugeot and Suzuki, and are proud of our ongoing affiliation with these brands. We also work closely with several of Australia's largest insurance brands who entrust us to be a part of their preferred repairer network. Our client support staff are always happy to assist clients from the initial process of lodging claims through to the final stages of collection of the vehicle on completion of repairs and post-repair. So remember, for all your prestige collision repair needs, consider Westar Prestige, an award-winning, long-standing, Australian-owned business.
Well, folks, I hope you enjoyed those two interviews with Josh Divin and Anthony Smolic. Podroom-TV, cannot wait for that one. And that pretty much brings us to the end of the show. Before we do say goodnight, just one last look at Friday night's big blockbuster here at Churchill Reserve, when Dinamo takes on the Cannons in a round 19 NPL Victoria fixture. Game kicking off at 8:30 p.m. and hopefully the Vukovar bar will be rocking big time well into the night. What a way that would be to start the weekend, that's for sure. That's it, folks. Thank you so much for being a part of Dinamo-TV this week. We look forward to having your company again next Wednesday night at 8 p.m. And we leave you with one more look at that, what could one describe it as? The ultimate in man caves. A fantastic TV / podcast studio, or just a Konoba down under. It's Ante Smolic's, his own man cave and the studio of the soon-to-be released podcast, Podroom-TV. Good night, folks. Bye-bye.